Okay, let's dive in. I'm going to do this in a little bit of a weird way. Let's see if this works. I'm just gonna open a new tab and just kind of open them up as I go. Is this gonna work? Hang on, guys. I think so. Kaze's posting stuff too. My God. Ooh, there's some good stuff going on here. Okay. Okay, we got some stuff to start with. You guys ready? And if you're posting anything in the Stream Critiques channel, uh, feel free to comment on if there's anything in particular you want feedback on, like composition or lighting, or if it's just the way that things are being textured. Let's dive in. Or maybe I can hide myself here. Ooh, this is a good spot. Ooh, look at this. Got my tabs on the side here, like a madman. Nice. I look so pro now. Roxy, what's up? I look pro in this corner here. Which way do I have to look this way and be like, ooh, sick art. Okay. Wait. We can have the honor of getting critiqued. Haha, the honor. Hiding like a ninja. So, let's look at this first asset. So this is just straight up a post directly. So there's not much to specifically comment on. So I'll just point out the things that I feel like I would. What's up, Cold? How you doing? I'll just point out the things that kind of, I wouldn't say bug me the most, but I think could improve it drastically, right? So, and I think what it is your bevel weight. So if we let's see if we can. Let's copy this image and we'll paste it in here, hopefully. Nice. Okay. So, let me zoom in on this. So you can see that like bevel weight. Also, FYI, if I don't get to your work, I apologize. We may go a little bit deeper into people's work, but I think it'll benefit everyone because you'll see the things that I pick up on and whatnot. But so we've got a bevel edge here. Oh my God, and a thick pen, so thick. There we go. Bam, bam. This bevel, this one here. So what I'm looking at is you can see there's these little bevel highlights, right? I guess I don't have to point that one out. It's pointed out in the other areas. There's a bevel here as well that's even in the ambient, like in the shadow, is getting a highlight. So what you want to be looking for is getting these bevels to have like a consistent language to them, where you have like a large, medium, and a small bevel. So when you look at your details, some of like this one, for example, this one feels large. This one feels like a medium, maybe a medium. This one looks the same. These two look identical. These ones look like small, right? And same with this one, small. So when you think about these bevel sizes, you want to be watching out for your bevels becoming too small. One of the main reasons is during bakes that can be an issue where you get aliasing because the normal map doesn't have enough room. The other reason you want to have larger bevels is for aliasing on the screen, like when it's rendering real time. If the bevel is really small, there's not enough pixels on the screen. It's kind of the same problem. And yeah, so watch out for those things. Usually, even with realistic things, it's good to err on the side of a little wider than normal or wider than real. So if a bevel in real life is like really small, maybe you want to emphasize it a little bit more in the same space there. But yeah, just something to think about. I think texture-wise, it seems all right. Modeling-wise, it feels quite simple, and I think making these bevels on the main frame a little bit larger would definitely help in that feeling. This one actually feels like this should be a medium bevel, and these ones should be larger. Like maybe this one's a medium as well. And I think I'd marked it as a medium. But yeah, just some things to keep in mind, especially with like pieces like this one sticking up so far and the on-off button. Getting that like wider is just gonna visibly feel nicer. Spelling as well. If this is, I don't know if it's intended for this to missing the A, but you're missing an A in search. Unless I'm crazy. Hang on. No, yeah, you're missing an A in search. I'm one to talk. It's in the concept. Dude, crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Good job linking the artist as well. Cool. So as you can see, I'm using Edge. I started using it at work, and man, I'm enjoying it a lot. Strangely enough, critted. Uh, yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's very good. So let's look at Kaze's stuff. So I think modeling wise, let's see if I can grab this. You guys are watching from voice chat? Nice. Oh, that's kind of cool. So, right off of the bat, just kind of looking at it, I think the weakest part right now is the materials. But let's go down. Let's go down the gauntlet. The gauntlet would be like the modeling. If it's baked, that the bake is clean, and after the bake, then it's materials. And when it comes to materials, that's all about your roughness and material representation. So when I look here, let's look at modeling first. What the heck did I just? What is that? Okay. Um, so modeling wise, we've got some pretty tight edges. I'm going to change the color here. Here and like, I really like this edge, by the way, with the way you've like chipped up the surface. Maybe it's a little too chipped up consistently, but the amount of detail that you're pushing, like in this area, for example, there's some detail here. I don't know if this is. Let me see really quick. So this is from a concept as well. So in the concept even, I would copy this and let's bring this over also. So in the concept, when you look at this really closely, we're just going to double click this and move this around. Oh, we don't need the cassette, do we? Cool. Okay, let's look at the concept next to it as well. So when we look at the concept, you can see like when it comes to modeling and spacing of things, there's a lot of design choices that are being made that you see in real life. So this gap here and having like a consistent space that you can see, this is kind of the stuff that breaks the illusion when it comes to modeling and openings in the geometry. I don't know if this actually like modeled out. Maybe I can see it in further down the post, but I'm just going to react off of this image for time's sake. I think you need a little bit of padding in here just so that design wise the metal doesn't look really weak in this thinner spot. So if you get a little bit of padding there, that would help. These edges, I think they're sharp in here. They could benefit from being a little bit softer, I think, in the model, just so that it doesn't look so low poly. I like the rounding on the edges there, but I think when I look at the concept here, I think it's even rounded here, because like you see how it gets thin here, and then it dips around like this. This bevel here is smaller than this bevel, so I'm imagining that there's a nice rounding that's happening. So this is all quite rounded feeling. And then the button is on the top. I think that button, normally those buttons are a little bit inset, so you feel good on your finger, you know? It's a bit of a tactile design. But I think that's okay to be the way that it is. And it looks like you've got those bevels we're talking about. A lot of it is just consistency of edges. So like where this is rounded here, and then this comes to a sharp point. I think in the concept, it's much more like you use these main pathways of the lines to help you understand the form that's happening in here. Because like this looks like it's curved in. This looks like it's curved out. So somewhere in here, this is all kind of melted together, right? And that rounding has to terminate off to like whatever's happening around here, which I think should be following that same language of rounding when it needs to, wherever there's a corner. And you can see in your design, you're getting a lot of like this sharp line immediately tells you you're looking at geometry. Same with this sharp line here, and like there's a really small, like there's a large bevel here that's like unsmoothed in that sense. I wonder if that's, yeah, it's there as well. So it might just be the way that it was concepted and how you're interpreting it. But those are the things that really stick out to me when it comes to geometry. Now, when it comes to the way that it's textured, it's really understanding the types of materials that they are and getting the base value of those materials correct, and then from there, damaging it. Again, I'll say like this stuff here, this little bit of damage that's happening, if lowered in density would look much better. But that attention to detail is really nice. When I see, oh, here's a geometry thing that I'll point out, even though we're talking about materials, like this is really harsh. But when it comes to this stuff, I'm assuming this is like coffee stains or something, or mud, or I don't know. Either way, the details are very small, and they look to be largely in the albedo. It could be that we just need a better light angle in order to really appreciate all the work you're putting into your roughness. But right now, everything's very flat, minus the plastic is a bit more responsive given this highlight here. Yeah, I think there's just, you really need to focus on your materials and also just how far you're taking your assets. I don't know if this was intended to be, see, this is a better angle, and those stains are surprisingly not affecting your roughness as much as I would expect them to. Either way, I think these are important points to have, and I think it looks pretty cool. There's just all these things that we can work on, right? Like this piece down here is very simple modeling wise. It might be worth in the text here writing the intention. Is it for real-time mobile? Is it for AAA first person? Is it a third person asset? Because that'll tell the viewer or the artist or whoever's looking at your portfolio to hire you if you're meant to have, it's for them to understand your choices and the quality of the execution, right? So if you're taking these like really weird shortcuts and it kind of looks low quality, but then you're saying that it's supposed to be for mobile and not saying that mobile's low quality, but there's certain ways that you'll model in texture because you're on a mobile platform versus certain ways you would approach something if it was third person or first person, right? So I think if you were to note that in here, that would be really beneficial. This looks like it's for, this honestly looks like it's supposed to be for first person, given the detail. And I think that, given that, I feel like the modeling and the texturing is not up to the standard that you would expect it to be at for that type of asset. Super cool to see you post some stuff, Keze. Avalanche, what's up, dude? How you doing, man? Okay, next up's Matthew Gorney. Matthew, you're gonna get oh, you're Valken. Nice. Okay, you're getting the community tag. Oh man, what's going on here? What am I? Oh, okay. I'm like, what? I was so confused for a second. I was like, this isn't what you're showing in Discord. Don't mind me. It's been long. It's a long day. All right, so we got a dagger or a knife, a blade. Don't let me distract you. You always distract me, Kyle. Um, yeah, that no slip grip is real. It's that could cut you. So, oh man, this is like super high res as well. So let's copy this, and once it's happy to be done copying, there we go. Let's compare the resolution. Are you ready? Boom. It's serious. It's not messing around. It's I don't think it's filled yet, Tien, but maybe someone in chat can help you get there. That way I can keep pushing on. But let's get your stuff critiqued. Yes. So let's look at this dagger. Right off the bat, I'll say really cool. The rest is also scaled, of course. All right. You want to play that game? You want to play that? We can reset this one, right? Where's the reset button? No, not replace. No. Scale the original. Okay. Yeah, dude. The flex though. I like it. Boolean city on the handle, or does it just seem that way? I mean, that's probably Boolean. It's probably easier to do that if you want these like nice flowing edges and then to get those cuts. So overall, first reaction, pretty cool. This looks cool. Text design on the logos, this stuff, I like that. We get the yeah, and this one, yeah, cool. Okay. When it comes to the handle, or the grip rather, I think from a modeling standpoint, this is cool. Um, oh, you're using Fusion. Oh man, DefCon be proud. I don't know if he's in chat, but anywho, modeling wise looks pretty cool. There's some weird stretching looking stuff going on here. This detail. It's here as well. I'm guessing that has to do with modeling UVs later in the production of this. It might be intentional as well. I don't know. Maybe it's like the scratches, or like the direction of the metal and how it was polished. 500 grit. I mean, maybe. Scratches look pretty cool. Looking at the materials, the scratches look pretty cool. There's some subtle like fingerprint stuff going on in here, it feels like. That's cool. I like that. The scratches are quite interesting. Like in this inner area. I like it here. This line, oh man, I'm gonna just keep switching between. This line here is very sharp. I don't know if like, I'm trying to visualize how this would work. Like, is this supposed to, like design wise, is it supposed to be so harsh like that? Or is this supposed to be more rounded here and then scoop up? It's a bench-made Nimraves. Man, I feel like I need to understand knives more. This is cool. I like this. The things I wanted to comment on is this, the damage that's happening on the edge here. There's a little bit of it on the inner area. The damage looks cool, but is very consistently present. And I think if you were to lower it down, like the tension points you have going on here is really nice. Versus when you look at the blade itself, it's kind of happening throughout. Like if I follow the edge here, it never really stops. And it's all consistently deep. That's a little artificial feeling, if you want to say it like that. I think the only other thing I could say about this is really nice. This is a nice detail. Just FYI, is the oh man, what do they call those? But basically the machining lines. That's really nice. I was gonna say the only thing I would really like comment on about this as a interesting asset is it would be nice to have some type of like you've got all this detail here, right? To have some cloth wrapped over the middle that's really seen some time, you would see this pattern softly through the, like just in the way that the fabric that's wrapped around it has like kind of stuck to it, you know? But yeah, I think when it comes to those smaller details, that's those are the things I'm kind of looking at. Milling, yes, the milling lines. Thank you. Yeah, they're really nice. It's a nice addition. It helps explain how stuff's built. Um, with these little, maybe with these little screws, it would be cool to have like, if you could look at a screw. Is this recorded? Yes, it is. So when you have a screw, you should go and look at references of screws that have been used a lot, right? Because if you look at it really closely, you can see the damage, how a screw is damaged as it continuously is used or tightened. And if you can get that type of detail in here, man, that's that's the hotness. That would look so good. But yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Hopefully, some of those points I was saying help out. Let's jump to Jeremy. Dude, it's another Jeremy. Madness. Anyways, also a work in progress, but would love feedback. Stylized realism approach to textures slash colors. So there's this one and there's this one. So let's see here. Let's copy this one. There can only be one Jeremy. No, no, it's fine. It's fine. I swear it. I swear it. It's fine. Oh, yeah, grab the other one too. Yeah, just drop you in there. Um, get this one. Cool. Okay. Let's put these next to each other. Whoa, it almost freaked out there for a second. Beta Razor, what's up? How you doing? Okay, so what I was gonna look at with these ones. So you've got a stylized approach with your materials, you were saying, and that's totally cool. I want to comment first. We'll look at composition. I'm gonna write it here, so it's just like, so the things we go through is comp, and then we look at modeling. I think we'd also hang on here. Let's. This is kind of, I'm gonna give you guys a bit of a cheat sheet. This is like kind of how I process things um, when I look at everything. So if we've got composition, we've got modeling, we've got lighting, we've got nice lighting. We look at materials, and I think when it comes to, we could probably do it like this when we're looking at an overall scene. So composition, lighting, modeling, materials, and then I guess I would say like story. This is something I'm really kind of curious about. Is this story, like what's happening here? You know. So let's cap that out. So like when we look at this scene, first we look at the composition. So the focus, of course, is this like little bottom area here. And in order to have strong composition, of course, it's the composition, right? It's the angle, like figuring out the angle that looks interesting. Things aren't too centered. You're thinking in thirds. You're kind of framing stuff in a way that is intriguing. Um, Composition is greatly enhanced by lighting, and I want to say that right now the lighting is very consistent here. So you have the door up here, right? Then you have, hang on, we need a bigger. We need a bigger pen. So we've got a door up here, and then we have the little seating area with all the details around it. And I want to say that that's the main focus. Is this economy? Zero, what's up, man? So I want to say that this is the main focus, and then you have the door up here. If we're supposed to be focusing on this, you really want to remove all lighting that's detracting from your focus points. So if this is the focus, I would say turn the light off that's up here. I think there's a light somewhere up here. I don't know, something. Anyways, there's a light up here that's on, and it's shining down, and it's highlighting and brightening up this entire stairwell, right? You need to check the announcements channel, and then there's a link, a path to it called Stream Critiques. I can, here, I'll just do this. Actually, I don't know what your name is on the, on the Discord, so. But yeah, you should be able to find it. Anyways, so thinking about lighting and removing lights that are detracting from what you want us to focus on, super important. The next thing I would say is, so we've got our lighting, our composition we've talked about. The lighting for this area is still not, like when I look at that area, it's not really focused on. Like there's stuff there, but the brightest point is further back behind everything, when maybe it should be like either a TV that's here that's shining, that's backlighting, or like lighting the front of the table and the front of the couch. It's basically, there's lights everywhere. If we just delete these, there's lights in these locations here, and they're all like fighting for attention. So that's really kind of like, there's also there's some type of lighting that's happening over here, because this is all lit as well. So basically just trying to get the viewer to focus. It'll also help you have to do less work. A camera angle change in this shot would help. I was going to say, like, if you were forced to make this shot, you're going to want to like really darken this whole area up and basically just kind of do this with the lighting and frame everything to have you looking here. Everything under the stairs should be really dark. There could be silhouettes and stuff, but you just don't want to. When I say really dark, I don't mean black pixels, but I mean you don't want to be focusing on what's back there. Now, that's if you had to do this shot, and it's not a bad shot. Froz, what's up? How you doing? Hey, Richard. This shot I feel like is stronger. There's a lot more going on, and I think it actually checks the boxes on storytelling more as well. So if we zoom in here, I would actually say remove this. Don't worry about this shot. Just focus on this. The attention to detail. Let's look at your modeling here. So the attention to detail is really nice. You've got what is it? What's the name for that? Insulation in your ceilings. Really nice attention to detail. Now, when I look at the insulation and seeing how it meets the wall, this spot here, seeing how that's like in real life will help a lot. And sometimes it's as easy as just like, it's as easy as taking these wood boards that are between, right? These 2x4s, support beams, those are there. If you have another one that goes across, so it's like if you were to look at it from a top view, so you're going like this, and then you got your insulation, and then here's the wall. Right before the wall, you have a beam that all the insulation stops at, and that alone visually will help terminate the assets or like how the assets meet each other in a more logical way. So your mind automatically will just accept it better. So basically this one of those, we would call this a tangent line. It's not too visible just because of the shape of the insulation, but it would really benefit you to explain how things are connected, just so that it doesn't feel so disjointed. The other thing I wanted to to like poke at was scale. So right now, if you look at your modeling, the scale of the books and the scale of like the seat and a cup. So you can see a cup is like that. This red cup, it's a good cup, good red cup. You can see the size of that next to a cup or next to a book. So if we just grab this, let's can I do this? So if we put the cup here, you can see how big the books are by comparison. Just at least on, I'm assuming this is like similar in distance, like same depth from the camera. Really looking at the scale of your books and adding some variety. There's a bit of variety up here, and I like that you're playing around with the idea of like books kind of being stacked or kind of falling over. And yeah, it's that red Solo cup, man. You can't go wrong. Again, on the modeling or shading, like right now, this one looks like the normals on it are broken because you're getting some weird like warped lighting effects happening. Just because when the light hits it, if the smoothing is all off, the light's gonna bounce in really weird ways off the geometry, and you're gonna get really strange like normal information across the surfaces, and you can see as a little warpage going on there. The rug looks pretty cool. Looks like a nice material. There's some cans down here. So with all the details that you're adding, you want to think about the story, right? We'll come back to materials here in a second, but you want to think about the story. There's some cigarettes that are going. I didn't notice that until I zoomed in here. It might be worth like having it happen maybe away from a line that's from the couch. This line could be masking it a little bit. You want to have, even in a chaotic scene, you want to have logic to it. So, for example, you've got your pizza box. You've got a pizza box on the table, but then you've got one to the side here. So there's two pizzas that have been eaten, or one, and then another one's gonna be eaten. Gianni, how you doing? How you doing? What's up, Game Art? I will get to your question here in a second. But when you look at all the props and where they're located at, there needs to be a logic to everything. Like even it kind of feels like that's upside down, but I know it's not. It's like the branding makes it look like it's upside down. I don't know. Maybe I don't look at enough cigarette boxes. But why are these boxes away from each other? Why is this one closed and this one's open? Is this this looks like a common hangout place. Maybe there should be like a stack of boxes in the back here of like tons of pizza that's been gone through. And why is this folded up? All those questions, we gotta find ways to answer those. Just in the way that the scene is kind of put together. Some sauce residue on the boxes. Yeah, right now I think the boxes aren't textured. The other thing is, I feel like the drinks would be up here. Maybe. I feel like they would be. The next thing I was going to say is materials. So right now, if you look at all your materials, probably the most shiny looking things are the cans and the chairs, but they're not reading like the metal you would expect, right? So just be sure to be looking at references for these types of materials. And actually, PBR is much simpler than we initially realize, right? When you start learning physically based materials, it's difficult. You know what's difficult? It's try to make metal without PBR. that sucks. So it's quite easy to make metal nowadays. So if you can figure out what the roughness value is for this type of metal, and make sure metalness is on it, because I think metalness is actually, it doesn't look like it's on. If it might be on, but maybe it's like a gray value. Just for simplicity's sake, make your metal maps white and your other maps that are not metal black. Those chairs are typically painted anyways, no? Not always. But your you're that's a good point, and it can also help a lot with visuals if it is painted, because then you have the opportunity to scratch it in spots or show wear and a little bit of aging on the paint, which gives you something more to play with. The great idea with the leftover crust for the people who don't eat crust. Blasphemy, blasphemy. Um, but yeah, there's a lot going on here, and it doesn't really have too much focus. When I'm talking about the materials, I was like mentioning metal and the PBR values. Um, right now, everything is very similar. I'd be really curious to see your roughness in general for the shot. Where I'm really liking it actually is on the books, having that little bit of gold leaf on the spine of the books is really cool. I like this window here. I don't know if it needs to have a light ray unless the lighting was really subdued in this scene, and everything's being illuminated maybe by like this window and it's just casting this way, because it feels strange that it's casting here. It feels like you would want it to be, kind of trying to hit everything. Then again, very small window, not usually going to cast this much light, unless it's really dusty down there. I guess a little smoking, maybe you would see that ray. But yeah, I just went off for a little while there, so hopefully that was helpful. Game art, is it currently? Hi, I'm currently making my first game art or game prop for my portfolio. I have a question regarding UVs. Like, do I need to constrain myself to 2K or go to 4K textures? It depends. How big's your asset? If we zoom in here, I don't see anything in this scene that would warrant a 4K texture at all. Everything should be like a 1024. Your tilables could, if you really wanted to, be a 512, but your tilables could be a 1024 as well. Um, but yeah, the only reason I think no, you don't need a 4K in here. You don't even need a 2K in here. Some weeds reaching the window. Oh, that's a great idea. That is a great idea. Yeah, you're talking my language, man. Just some little the stuff that just doesn't get caught when the person's mowing. Yeah, man. Most modern games don't use 4K at all, right? Depends. Again, it really depends on what type of game you're going for. Is it multiplayer? Is it third person versus first person? I think for you to even start approaching 4K, it needs to be a first person game. But there may be cases where you're going to need 4K. Like, what about a static sky that's not real time? It's a texture. That could be 8K. And it's always there. You know what I mean? But it really depends. And there's a lot of scenarios that can change the reason why. Okay. AK HDR. Perf is crying. Perf is silently in pain. The people crying are tech art, and they're making sure we know. Okay, this one, Hulk Logan, dude, dope name. Look at this. This is exactly how it feels for me to get a Red Bull. I've only had one energy drink in the last 4 or 5 weeks. It's crazy. I usually have one every day, and I feel slightly triggered by this image. So the fingerprints on that are kind of small. This is what it's like to chew five gum. How's your liver right now? I think it's okay. So this model looks pretty cool. I don't have any reference of like a flashbang because I'm assuming this is a derived from a flashbang, right? Let me just pull one of these over here. Uh, I'm on some list now. I just googled flashbang. Let's go. All caps as well. I mean business. Baby hand. Yeah, so there's a bit of a I don't know, the way that this is modeled. Yeah, the way this is modeled doesn't it doesn't look like it's designed. It looks more like the nature of um, adding two loops, pulling those two loops outwards, insetting these, and then deleting the faces, and then adding a shell to thicken it, right? So it's thinking about how to get that detail to look correct, and a lot of the times it's just understanding design. To be honest, so if we just pull this stuff in here, so when you're looking here, let me see if I can find a good. I don't see anything that's kind of got a handle like that. I mean, it does look cool, but a lot of them it's just like a single. A lot of them it's just doing this. Hang on here. Oh man, come on, let's go. There we go. A lot of them it's just coming out from here, and then it drops, or even more so, out from here, and then it just drops this way, and then straightens out around here. So it's got two tension points, one here and one here, and it's very much just like a very simple stick, essentially. You know, I think Avalanche. I think you might be right. It might be pepper spray, which is hilarious because this is exactly how I would like energy drinks to be delivered into my mouth via a pepper spray, like bear mace. Yes, it looks very heavy duty, but bear mace is like a canister with a trigger on the top. You mean business? It's a bear flashbang. So text looks good. Materials look pretty good. The scale of the fingerprints on here feels a little strange. There's some damage that's happening here that makes me like these little specks makes me feel like the metal should be more dented. The little bit of damage that you're seeing in the paint, we should be aware of, like this stuff down here and here is very consistent across the board. So just watching out for this common mistake early on in texturing skill sets, right? It's like avoid that. Think about where the tension points happen. Think about where contact occurs the most, and think about what type of material this is. Is this paint? It's very chalky looking, you know. Is this metal and this is where the paint ends? It's hard to read that stuff, right? So understanding what everything is and why things are designed the way they are. Like this is nice with the drop here, but is it is this one continuous piece, or is there supposed to be like a break here? You know, that kind of like separates the pieces so that you understand how stuff's put together. You don't really see much other than like this pin release and this point here and these guys, and maybe that's how they are. This is for collegiate bear mace. Anywho, can looks pretty cool. It looks a little high res for me. Like if this is for a like product or like even just having fun with the idea of it, I like the resolution. This isn't. This doesn't look like it would be in a game at all, just because of the detail that we're showing here. Unless it's in the like a cutscene, right? Rendered. It's it's based off a concept. The dude with the Pringles gun. That's forever known as the dude with the Pringles gun. That's awesome. But yeah, looks cool otherwise. It's just looking at like how stuff is put together, how thick metal is, the grip that is there. I mean, there's a ring back here, so you're definitely pulling that out. There's there's this safety release or safety release. It's bent that way so you don't accidentally pull it out. But once it's through there, man, it's about to get real. You're about to get energized. Uh, yeah, so understanding the design is going to be very, very important. It is also titled Red Bull Grenade, so we've been tricked this whole time, Avalanche. Okay, next up, this bad boy, dude. This is looking pretty cool. Okay, okay. Let's copy this. Let's bring it into our grid life. Flashbangs sometimes even have 2 pins. Oh, interesting. So you really have to commit. So my favorite thing right off the bat is this rock here. Like this is just nice. It feels good. It's got a character to it. Yeah, it's got character to it. It's got a very specific style. One thing I'm really liking about it, actually, let's switch to this one. So you can see where the crack points are, or the crack tension lines, I want to call them that, is there's some big ones, like primary cracks, where it's actually fractured. And then there's these like micro, like hairline fractures, if you want to call them that. Now you look at those, and contrast wise, if we erase all this, they're quite minimal. AgeLink, what's up? Yeah, they're quite minimal. And when we look at these ones, they're really extreme. Um, if you take the approach that you have for these ones and really like take these ones, oh, we should switch to the feedback color. Take these ones, these like large major ones, and leave those for this type of area. Right? You've got some lines here, and if you leave them to these larger areas, these are going to be largely not cracked. That's a nice boulder. This is true. But don't let these types of lines distract you from the major forms. Right now, that's what they're doing. All you're seeing is a lot of cracks everywhere. So keep that in mind. And this is, I'm digging this. It's very nice. So when we look at the composition, actually, so you have a message along with this. So let me read this. Hey, Den, I've tried to apply your critique from the last Discord critique stream in my scene, like adding more depth by moving one building more in the back. I would love to hear your thoughts on everything you see that seems weird or could be improved. Okay, so we got the rock thing out of the way. I've added more stuff and further worked on the buildings. Here's the concepts. Okay, so there's the link for the concept as well. Let's crack that open. Let's wait, what? Aha. Aha. Okay, so if we paste the concept here, so you could benefit a lot from bringing your camera angle down. This sounds really extreme. I think right now your scene is very very flat in the camera angle. So like imagine if this waterfall here is actually lower than back here. I think makes sense, right? Right now your waterfall is pretty level with this. I say bring your waterfall so that the top edge here, like where it's actually dipping down, is down here. And then you climb your way up. Like by the time you're here, maybe this is even up here. You know what I mean? So you're really like from a side view, like let's say the waterfall is here, and then the land just goes up like this. And this is side view. So like let's say your arch is here. And then the buildings way in the back, you can see them back there. They are like epic because they're so high up the mountain. That's also giving you a lot of free kind of extra depth to the scene. There's some weird stuff happening though. Like in this concept, I don't know if this piece is closer or further than this piece. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like this is slightly behind this one, but there's clearly an opening here, and you can see the like another waterfall and some statues back there. Like I think this is just over like an overhang. Like if you had to expand the concept outwards, and like all the water is going this way, and the rocks are following the water wherever it's coming from. But I think right now, if we just look at the composition of this one and yours, I would try and match your framing a little closer. I do like that you're doing some stuff back here, but it's right now it's really kind of pulling from the rest of the scene. Like this detail here, your foreground elements could be even closer to the camera and detach. Ooh, I just see a guy here. Detach this from the waterfall. It feels like it's connected right now. Have that just come much more forward and almost be blurred out. And I'm not sure like how this is all shaped. So that's something to think about. I'm assuming, right? But compositionally, I think if we just change the framing as well, let's try that really fast. You can see how much stronger now you're really focusing. Like you can still have the elements in the back here. You can even push them back a little bit further with the fog. But this should be way up here, like up there. And the only reason you're seeing it is because you tilt the camera up and bring it down so you can still see the waterfall. When it comes to these types of details, I really like this. This is very World of Warcraft. The detail of the bricks, that's pretty hardcore. I like it. It's very detailed, but I like it. It gives it. You really need some areas of rest, and I think by getting rid of the cracks on the rocks being so extreme, you'll probably get much closer to that, having an area of rest. Be careful with stuff that, like if we do like this, like this area should be pretty clear so that you can see like the path up. But right now you have some props that are coming through, and these are okay, but you can see like these just kind of clip through, and they cut the view, or they cut the path, so you don't really have like a way through. And especially once you start to texture this, you're gonna want to make sure that you've got the room to be able to do that. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's almost like you're falling down this. Dude, did you even see this statue in here? Look at this guy. You gonna calm down, bro? Trying to be a rock or something? These buildings as well, they look like they've got like a rock formation on the base here, and then it's built on top of that. With the way that you've built this stuff here, I would just scale it up and bring it back there and just make it just crazy huge. Like I don't know if this is one asset. Hopefully it's like built in a way where you can use it easily, because you can just take that, bring it back here, and just scale it up and make it like way up here. Oh man, come on, mouse. Way up here. But yeah, this tower feels out of. I like this tower. It feels out of place. Like stylistically, like the rooftop of this should be similar to the rest. Like everything needs to be consistent. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Don't hesitate to get some early foliage in there. These guys, just get these all figured out, or like some simple form, like kind of like what you have going on here. And think about the complexity of your water. To more precise with the scale and the concept. There's a building, but it's kind of weird scale wise. Yeah, it is. It is strange scale wise. I don't even know if it's like, is it connected to this building? I don't know. Transition meshes for the rocks will help out a bunch. Yes, definitely. Um, Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to point out. I mean, I think that's a lot to go off of for now, but the scenes really come together. It's nice to see. It's just some of these things that I'm pointing out will really help in like the framing. Like this was much stronger to me. And almost I don't know, like you could toy around with that being there and not being there just to see how it feels. Balance wise, there needs to be something light here, just compositionally. You can see it's like cutting across. But yeah, let's see if we can't do this. Oh no, you guys use Miro much? It's pretty nice. I use it a lot now. Um, okay, let's bring that down here. Yeah, down here. We got some others to check out. Just gonna click on some. Mono. Tien, welcome to the server. We will definitely check out your gun, man. That looks sick. Looks awesome. Okay. Scroll up here. So next up, we've got J3 or Jason. I guess you're so it's a fan art Street Fighter 6 scene. Buckler Jim. Let's let's bring this out over here. Sorry, flashbang. Just look up images of this Street Fighter. Do we have a good image of this? Is Miro like Pure Ref with pencil tool? Yeah, I would say it's more than that. You can do a whole lot of stuff. Whole lot of stuff. I'm trying to find a reference of this place. I see some other people building scenes for it, but anyways, let's just get into this one. The thing I wanted to look at is just like how close it is to the look and feel of the real scene, or the reference. Yeah, you can collaborate with teams on in Miro. It's really nice, really nice. So if we look at this scene overall, initially the thing I like the most, I think, is this graffiti in the background and just how the light is hitting the wall here. Um, Outside of that, it's hard to read. There's a lot of contrast going on. There's a lot of dark values in there. Um, let's uh, let's copy this and give me 1 second. Gonna just move this Photoshop file. If I don't have Photoshop files open, you see all the files I've been working on, you know? So if we look at this scene, if I just hit play on here and let's just like push this value, there's everything's very in similar ranges or is too dark. So what you're seeing here is I've taken your black to white range And if it's black, I make it black. If it's white, I make it blue. And so you want to be sitting outside of the black ranges, and you want to be sitting outside of the blue ranges, except for like direct lights that are super bright, right? So with that said, if I turn this off, let's duplicate this layer, and if I just do some levels and kind of move stuff around, you can see this all moving. If I turn this layer on and then move those around, you can see me shifting the range. Like as it goes into black, there's no more information in there. So you got to watch out for that. We could cut out all of the blue, but I think it's fine to have a little bit if it's like the sky or like the sun or a light bulb or a fire. But you want to avoid having these black areas. And arguably, I would say even like if we go in here, you want to watch out for the dark red. Like that's you're basically at that point you're getting into essentially no information territory. So when I go to like brighten a scene up, it brightens up in a weird like blowout way. But as you can see, your scene's pretty dark overall. And I think when it comes to that, we just need to like really push the range a little bit. I don't want to wash it out, but I think the contrast that's in your brick material is too strong. So you're distracted by the brick pattern, and it's dark as well, right? So you just see that a lot. Back here, it's working okay, and it's mainly because the light rays are pushing the darkness inside of the brick pattern up a bit. So it's not nearly as like high contrast as this. The other thing is there's not really any depth of field that's helping give us some focus. So like understanding what you want your focus to be, I guess, is this bag here. Would be cool to like animate a camera zoomed in real close or like really close to the bag, and then you have like the name of was it Buckler Gym, like printed on like a sheet that's like stuck on there, and it pans across it, and everything is out of focus, and then it focuses to the scene. So you basically need you need to be able to play with that stuff a little bit. Material wise, this stuff feels a little strange to me. I like the direction of it. It just feels it feels weirdly flat here. Like, I guess it feels like it should still be trying to round itself out in the detail. There's a whole lot going on over here, and we don't really see any of that. Is that, let's see here. We get any other shots of it? Oh, you get a little bit of different angles there. See, all the surfaces are very clean, and to a certain degree, that's going to be the case. But it's very sterile feeling. Like adding the human touch of like just a little bit of dirtiness, some variation in the roughness would help a lot. It's like there's a little bit going on in there. Is this painted on, or is that like you know what I mean? Really understanding, it kind of looks like it strips. Because I think I see, hang on here. I think I see a little break in the line. Yeah, there. Yeah, this is a nice touch. A little bit of dirt there as well. I think, yeah, if there was just a way to break up the surfaces just a bit more, that would help a whole lot. It feels very artificial. How consistent that is, and the contrast again is very harsh. I don't know, it's very dark somehow, because it's a weird dark. I can't really put my finger on what's going on there. I'd be interested to see a albedo only of this, because I bet your albedo values are kind of weird with the blue and the like. Back here looks pretty good, but man, it gets really, really dark. Anywho, overall modeling wise, everything looks pretty good. I think it's mainly down to your materials and the way your roughness is behaving. and then lighting to help you focus on your compositions. I think you're trying to show an entire place, and when you do that, there's just no way. There's no way to frame that in a more compelling way than what it is to just see the whole space, right? Some of the interesting tricks people use when it comes to like finding interesting composition is to look at things from a perspective that you don't normally see, because that's what people don't normally see, right? So the camera angle of a child, the camera is much lower to the ground, and then you're looking up. That's an angle that's quite interesting. Or a camera angle that's higher, like up in the rafters above, maybe panning and looking straight down. I think the pads look like they're very unused. I think that's maybe the problem. If they look a bit more worn, slightly discolored, and it looks like lots and lots of people have walked across and stumbled on it, that would help a lot. But yeah, cool. Cool. Um, let's look at little cold. What we got here? Left side, 3 materials with UDIMs. Right, 1 material with UDIMs. With 30 assets in my portfolio project. With UDIMs, what should I do? All sculpted asset by asset. Left side, 3 materials. 1 UDIM. Oh, red. So, no, there's no update on an opening for the mentorships. Mainly because there hasn't been an opening yet. I will post in that channel the moment there's a spot, though. Because yeah, we need to post more in there. Um, I might have to approach it differently because I feel like we're waiting too long on those, or there's like, I don't know. We'll talk about it later. But I'm just waiting for a spot to open. For the short ones, there's openings. I could post those, but that's only an hour. Anywho, I think the cold on when we're looking at this, I want to say that so the one on the left looks very consistent lighting wise, like values. The one on the right is very like random feeling. There's pieces that are very dark and saturated, and then pieces that are very desaturated and light. Um, Preferably, I like this left one, and um, I think the question is why are you using UDIMs, and why are you sculpting everything, right? Because like what you could do is sculpt maybe like the little post pieces, and then the ropes would be a tileable rope material, and the wood would be a tileable wood material. And of course, it may not look as good. Maybe you can be sculpting the tileable wood material itself, but in games we just don't use UDIMs like that, if that makes sense. So when we're looking at this, what I would actually expect this to be is a rope material. Here, we'll break this down. You want to have good quality for a portfolio. So this is a battle that I think a lot of artists fight with. So you want to have stuff that looks really good on your portfolio, but I've seen people get declined for a role as well because their work isn't translatable to real time. So like this is great for like marketplace stuff and selling on to like people who are doing film through like Unreal. But like for you can get good quality without having to go this far. So like right now you've got 3 materials or three materials with UDIMs. What you want to do is you would take the rope, maybe the wood post, and then these. And so the rope would be a diffuse, roughness, and a normal. right? So 3 textures. Tileable rope material as well, so it's going to probably be pretty low res, like a 256 by 256 by 256, or maybe a little bit wider, like a 256 512, and it's just a tileable texture. So that's 3 textures, 1 shader. The post is probably the same, so 3 more. Diffuse, roughness, normal. And then this would be a tileable diffuse, roughness, and normal. So you can see you start to, materials and textures start to pile up really quickly. Now, if a lot of your game is using these types of materials, that's going to be really, it's going to be really valuable to approach it this way, because you'll only have to load these 3 textures once, and then you'll be able to always be able to have the rope material loaded in memory and used on any geometry that it's used on. And it would be the same shader. Same goes for the posts. The reason I say the posts are probably separate is if you wanted to sculpt them, you would probably sculpt the top, and you would do like a bake for the top piece there. A lot of times in games, we would probably just map that top piece to a texture that's got a top, and then in the square, we would tile. This would all be tileable as well. Maybe even the same materials as this. So with this stuff, pay for all of the niceness in geometry, load 3 textures, and when you look at all of this, if you need the variety, oh, what's the map here? If you need variety and breakup, that's what a mask comes in for. So all of this is happening. How do we do this? Like this on UV 0. On UV 1, you can take all of these UVs, pack it to a 0 to 1, and then in this, paint a mask so that you can get all the little like grimy, drippy stuff that like connects and like allows you to paint like differences and variation in here. And this texture is just another texture, right? It's a mask. Single channel. It could be a single channel. But you could do an albedo and a roughness variation through this. And that is just one more texture in. So you'd be sitting at 3, 6, 9, 10 textures. And yeah, because this is UV0, these can all be in different places in UVs. You've got a material, material, and a material. So you got 3 materials, 10 textures, 2 UV sets. This is how I would approach this. Then again, I'm talking from like a third person, maybe even first person, like AAA. Yeah, if you wanted a middle ground, you could sculpt 3 to 4 of the boards and then place them upside down, backwards, and yeah, just kind of move them around to make that work. But see, my developer like game dev brain is like, but then you're sculpting 3 to 4 boards when you could just make a tileable texture. It's all like optimizing the time, you know. That's why I would say if you're gonna sculpt anything, sculpt the posts. You're gonna get way more like visual interest close to the player's face if it's first person. And like I was saying, this one has like too much variation between the pieces. Just going off today. It's fun. All right, let's get this down here. Let's get this one in here. Yo, look at that. Nice love potion. It's a great color. So style-wise, really like it. Love the little droplet that's happening in there as well. Is that drop a heart? Please tell me it is. It is. I think it is. Yeah, it is. So you're saying I wasted my time sculpting everything? No, not at all. You what you did cold, actually, let's go back to that really quick. Where are we at here? What you've done is you got better at sculpting, right? You gained somewhere. In the grand scheme of production, we often can't afford to be sitting there sculpting everything. Or we're just never going to ship on time. Games are going to become too expensive. That's why I was saying the amount of time I do ZBrush at home on stream is far greater than what I do at work. over like 15 or 16 years of game dev. It's very rare that you're sculpting. There's very specific cases in when you would when you would sculpt. But you didn't waste your time. You got better at sculpting wood pieces. I'm just showing you a way of approaching it so that you can actually create this stuff faster, and get a similar result so that you can focus on the bigger picture, which is like the environments and stuff that you're building, right? That's the other benefit. You take all the shortcuts you can to get the quality to a level that you find acceptable, or are okay with for the big picture of building an environment, which requires a ton of assets to be made anyways. But yeah, Love Potion. Tiny Tina's Wonderland. But is it looking good? Yeah, I would say so. It looks good. It's generic looking though. Not a bad thing. It's just simple. You know what I mean? There's not really any character to it. But I think that could happen with ropes, like placed on the like separate props. So it just needs those smaller details on top of it. Overall, it looks pretty good. I think it needs a mask to break up the surfaces, adding character. Um, oh, I love this like highlight. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I gotta see this. It's interesting the normal information you put on there. No problem, Cold. Hopefully that was helpful. We gotta check out this albedo though. Yeah, that's great. Ooh, love the gradient. I wanted to see what it looked like in the. So the only thing I would say is like adding just a bit more geometry to get the curve in here nice. Very very picky comment, of course. You don't really notice it, but looks pretty cool. It's supposed to be viewed from this angle, right? Yeah. So when I look at this view, it's a shame I don't see the other piece. I almost feel like these are Empire colors. Texture is pretty awesome. I'm trying to think if there's anything that we could comment on. Ooh, the bottom is really cool. PBR stylized. Super cool. I probably wouldn't do this scratch here. You can see basically because of the resolution that you're working with, you're getting aliasing stepping like we were talking about earlier in the stream. So you gotta watch out for that, just because that gets really it gets hard to get rid of when your resolution's so low. Love the gradients here in the material. Um, let's see here, gloss. So this is your gloss map, but then your reflectivity. So I don't know if they're too desaturated here, but maybe it's for the style that we're going for. But looking at your gloss, it would be really nice to get a difference between the glass and the heart cap. But maybe they're made out of the same glass. I'm not sure. Anywho, it's nice with the metal down there too. Let me see what the reflectivity. Yeah. Yeah, it looks Borderlands. You nailed it. Good job. You got it. Mark is feeling it. Man, I'm like my mustache is tickling my nose. Also, I want to say your thumbnail for this. That's good. It's good stuff. And why aren't you a community? There we go. We gotta get J community as well. Let's see what else we got going on here. But I mean, I think this looks pretty cool. Maybe the background could be lower in contrast. Like these could be closer together. That way it's not distracting you from what the asset you're going to look for or that you're looking at. This mustache is fully PBR. This is physically this is gone beyond PBR. This is more of like a PAR. It's a par. It's physically accurate rendering. Um, let's dive in. Look at that wheel. All right, so this is from Sam. Sam underscore. I'm not sure what you want me to comment on it, so I'm gonna say that it's strange that the first image is the tire. The aim for this project was to recreate a Lamborghini Aventador. Looks cool. A car model is only as good as its paint shader. For me, no wind shader on it. It's too short, man. Let's see what we can gather here, though. Yeah, so carbon fiber looks pretty good. The car paint is the thing that you really want to be focusing on. Also, don't hesitate to add more geometry in order to get the curves and smoothness to be correct. Got to get that orange peel and flake layers. Yes, yes, you do. You get that clear coat gloss action going on, the dual specular, if you will. Um, the wheel I think is okay. It feels a little thin in the spokes of the I don't know the cap, the hubcap. The red brake feels really nice. The tire material wise feels a little off in the roughness range. Maybe not if you look over here, but it just doesn't feels ultra real in that sense, to the point where like it's sterile. Like it doesn't feel it's like hyper real. It's not grounded in that sense. There's also a little bit. Is that a shadow? Hang on. It is a shadow. I was like, is there a little bit of warping on the tire here? But it's just shadow. I'm just going crazy. Um, Overall, it's well modeled. Few pinching areas. It's mostly materials and pushing those further. Man, you got the seats in there. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely the materials. Oh, that's awesome. Like this feels really nice. This area here. Yeah, the 3/4 shot should definitely be the first shot. This material up here is you like that feels really nice. And I feel like the roughness of everything else is just slightly off. So it doesn't really read like the material that you're wanting it to read as. This is the normal on this. I don't know if that's like a detail normal. It's very, very strong. You probably want to be careful with how strong that is. Dude, the chairs look really good too. So you've got this like really nice kind of satiny or velvety kind of feel. Dude, Creamy, what's up, man? Yeah, that looks really good. Wow, these are all individually interesting. Yeah, I think if you were to just tune the your materials closer, they would be this would look really good. I think the other thing is they're very evenly lit. It might be interesting to like bring it out into an environment with some light bouncing around so that the little lower areas actually kind of become darker. Yeah, modeling the interior is insanely ambitious. But yeah, if we go up here, I would take this where is it at here? Either this one. Yeah. I would have the doors up in this view, this angle, this 3/4 angle, and just bring that one to the very, very top, because seeing a wheel when you see this thumbnail, you want to like, I don't know, I wouldn't click on it to see the wheel, because I guess seeing the thumbnail would assume it's just going to be the wheel and that's it. You know what I mean? Pick this guy. He's a monster. Thanks, man. It's good to hear from you, dude. But yeah, super nice. Oh yes, I've been looking forward to checking this one out. Did I open each one of the? Yes, I did. Okay, so I've posted this many times on Discord, but I'm wondering whether the black and white values are a desirable range or not, and also how the overall lighting looks. So the black and white's pretty cool. Hamish. Thanks for the critique on my stash, Hamish. Thanks, man. I need to get a haircut. You see how it's starting to like peak up here? I'm like I'm neutroning out, man. Um, yeah. So let's look at this scene here. So when we look at how this scene is set up, right off the bat, I'm loving this scene. It's got a lot of character. I think by making it black and white, we're losing out on a lot of like the subtleties that are happening. I do like the black and white. I think you could do that after you've finished your scene though. Like, you know what I mean? You could do some work to tune black and white values. Let's see what else we got here though. If we look at like, so I'm gonna just copy this image. We're just gonna bring this in over here. You guys are all competing for like largest image. Gotta get all the Ks. Gotta get that 4K. 4K action. Okay. You're eating pizza so you couldn't do lucky. Want some pizza? That sounds freaking good. Yeah, no problem, man. So I'm gonna zoom in over here because the first thing I noticed, well, okay, honestly, first thing I noticed was this breakup with the sand and stuff. Really cool. I want more of that. Get some transition to like the pillars and like how it meets the wall. Just make a kit of like a few meshes that you can place wherever you need to like break up the edges. Okay, the next thing I noticed was this pattern here, and how I see it here, and here, and here, and here. It's very tile-y looking. It's just these like little dots here. It looks like a guy who's just like, here, I'll emphasize. Does that work for you? Um, we can't have sad faces up there, or angry stash cam. Spag, what's up, man? Compositionally, this is really interesting. I like seeing this. There's like a pillar here. I feel like there should be more like stuff that's crumbled down or whatnot. I guess a pillar fell from this, right? From here. Fell this way. Um, Framing. I would see if there's something you can do to get some more variation in the edges here. Because these are very straight. Not sure what's happening there yet, but I think it's all heading in a really cool direction. Does this just fall into nothingness? What's going on over here? Does this just go down? Is it like this? And then there's like little pieces sticking out from the wall? I'm not sure I follow what's happening over there. Yes? Okay. Oh, I didn't see that cage there either. Man, there's so many like only path or death. I mean, if this was an Elden Ring and I saw this, I'd be like, oh, okay. You're challenging me. I guess we're going to try this. They call it a mine. A mine! Um, I don't know what else is happening in here, though. This is the... Okay, there we go. There we go. So, this is really sick. You... I think this is stronger than a hole. Just a giant opening. And, like, there's all this light here. Yeah, that broken column looks huge for sure. Yeah, having a top to it as well. And just getting all that detail up there. I think I would take the tops of your columns and actually make them larger. Like, really, like, play with the shapes. Because you can still see the block out, in a sense. Everything's quite simple right now. Well executed well, of course. It's just very simplified. It could be pushed much further. Like this tag graffiti stuff, man, I would scale that up. Make this dragon like huge. And there's some patterns and whatnot on there, and this like trim type thing going on. Right now, I feel like we're missing out on that type of detail from you. Like this edge could be, this bottom trim piece could be sticking out much further. Raggedy. Thanks, man. Anyways, this is really cool. Just pay attention to all the straight lines and try and like find ways around like breaking them up. Like this area here is sick. And overall it's feeling very nice. And I look forward to some black and white images in the end as well. You can do that after you finish the challenge, you know? Okay, we're going to just bring some of these down. Ooh. Pixel Bite. Carl Zeiss binoculars. Bro. These look nice. That presentation on this surface as well. Dude, look at the... Okay, hang on. Appreciate that grain. Hey, no problem, man. I hope I can be helpful. Man, this looks great. Oh my god, look at these renders. Oh, what? I'm gonna cry. Man, this is cool. I would say the only thing that's a little strange is the fingerprints are very emphasized, but maybe it's like dusty or something, you know? This is yes, Pog indeed. All the Pog. Much Pog. I'm actually quite impressed by how strong this surface is as well, normal wise, and it's not conflicting with everything else. I think it has a whole lot to do with the way your lighting is kind of filling in all the shadows. Hello, Paratrooper here. Was it done in Unreal Engine? If so, can you please just tell me how different the rendering of the other programs is? Speed. I don't know what you mean. This is in Blender. This is rendered in Blender, or is it Marmoset? This is Marmoset. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Oh my god, look at that poly count. Bro. Man, this presentation's quite nice. You even have Oh, it's a Arnold render. Okay. Ooh. You tried to make it as performant as possible. Oh wow, that's really interesting as well. You can see how like even at a 512 by 512, that still looks very good. You don't need to go super high res unless your camera's like super close. Lots of mirroring, I bet, man. It's quite impressive though because like despite all the mirroring that you've done, you strategically picked areas where you've uh, not mirrored so that it's hidden. Do you know what I mean? We're not seeing it. We're not seeing the mirror. Your understanding of physically based rendering is very strong as well. It's baked at 4K. Yeah, 4K will do it. This is a very nice render for sure. This view is a little weak. I don't know if you I don't know if you need this one. Just because it's not I love that sticker detail though. But like it just leaves you wanting certain details, which you are getting on this side, right? Like all the measurements and stuff. Um, I don't know if you actually need this image. If you wanted to have it, I would frame this maybe right here and then put this in the background behind it out of focus. But yes, I don't want to break anything. I want to say that the way you're presenting your wireframes, your texture maps, and your UVs, as well as showing and demonstrating what you mean by mirroring, and then also this, where you're showing like the resolution difference. This is super nice. How you doing, Curious? How's your cruise going? This is yeah, this is really nice presentation though. Oh, I have a message. I should probably check that. You get a follow as well because I'm like, dude, what the heck? Oh wow, you have an interesting portfolio. Um, very nice. I don't really have much to say on it, other than you probably don't need this image because then there's a lot of scrolling. I also maybe this image I don't think needs to be in here either. It just doesn't. It's not adding anything, if that makes sense. Dank NFTs. Your friend made that and you added it later on. That's cool. And you link to him as well. You can link to your friend in the description and it'll give him a nice little button to click on. But yeah, very nice. Well done. Well done indeed. All right, so Tien, I don't know if you're still here. It's time. Let's take a gander. Look at this. I'm here, dude. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, look at all the machining lines, the milling. So the thing that the main thing that bugs me, I think, is the rounds are very strange in their color. Uh, modeling wise, looks really nice. Presentation looks really nice. Might be getting a little dark. It's not finished. I've sent a description in the Discord. Oh, that's right. I need to read that as well. Okay, we got to read the text here. I'd love to hear your feedback about this gun I'm making. FYI, I don't make guns. I'm terrible at it, I'm sure. But we can all feedback together. It's still not finished, and I'd like to push my texturing skills with it. All smart materials are done by myself in Substance Painter. I'm trying to make a convincing polymer material, which almost a whole gun is covered with it temporarily. And I'm struggling to make a convincing painted gunmetal. I'm on the texturing process. Some bits have just a solid color. Most have my smart materials, but I'm not. But it's not a problem for me to go back to high poly and low poly and fix whatever. So the geometry looks quite good. I think the geometry is fine. The strength of in your materials, the strength of this stuff, I would be careful of softening it too much on the edges, but the strength of it overall, this normal information, I would lower maybe by half or so. I don't know. Looking at reference will be the key to getting the surfaces to match correctly. Painted gunmetal. It depends how the paint's been applied, right? Because sometimes paint is applied differently, depending on. I'm trying to think of because there's like powder coating, right? Powder coating paint for guns or metal in general. Yeah, powder coating is basically sprayed on. Powder coat, yes. And knowing what that looks like on a surface of metal is really important. And the damage that occurs that ends up showing the metal will have kind of a different bit of a profile as well because it's powder coated. Um, but I mean, your presentation's pretty solid so far. It's just a matter of getting your materials to look really nice and understanding the different types of materials for separating them with like a roughness difference. You're a real library of art knowledge. Thank you. I try to I try. I don't know everything. No one does. Um, yeah, I think it's just be really careful on the noise of the surfaces, understanding what's made out of what, and then distinguishing the differences of those with either showing it as metal, the difference in the roughness, as well as like the micro details that you're adding here. Getting that variety between all of the pieces is going to be imperative, I think, to be really pushing a weapon forward. Does anyone have DEF CON's art station? I always look to DEF CON these days when it comes to like weapon material. Because now that you're in the Discord, I'm gonna just DEF CON. Just getting into texturing weapons. Any sick resources? Let's gather them. It has little lumps from where the powder sticks together. You think you follow him already? Yeah, Howl, dude. Guy's crazy good. But yeah, it's really dependent on the material type. You will benefit a lot, I think, from having a scene that maybe someone can provide. That'll give you the lighting environment that will really show your materials off well. Because I think right now with how you're rendering yours, this is really dependent on the way the scene is lighting it, right? and like your image-based lighting is essentially not giving you any information in the shadows, so it's very flat. This one's a little better, but it's very contrasty, right? And I think if you want it to look very real, it needs to be in a very real scene. That should be pretty easy to achieve with like HDRs and stuff. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. We got one more, and then we'll get out of here. You guys posted the perfect amount of work. I don't know if is it Petter? If Petter's in the stream. Hey, no problem, and welcome to the server. I hope we can be of service to you, and you can show us some stuff too. Merwin, what is up? It is you. Oh, you're at the Vertex School. That's cool. Scroll through this and look around here. I always love these. These are so cool. Modularity, very nice. I guess you're using those modular pieces to build all of this out. Okay, so did you have anything in particular you wanted me to comment on or look at, or you just want to show it and like get any initial feedback? Let's see here. I guess I'll just comment on some stuff then, just things I'm seeing. So overall, it feels pretty good. It does feel like it's missing that like last layer of detail. What I mean by that, let's see if we can. So you got these details, right? Nice. My outlining skills are top notch. My God. You've got a ladder here. That's nice. Boop, 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 boop. Sick. Anyways, we're missing out on some like smaller things. Like maybe there could be a bottle here, maybe another one, a cup here, something that's fallen over. Just some smaller details. Really like the puddles. The curb feels a little overemphasized on its angles. You see like all these little breaks. Probably want to smooth that out a little bit and break it in a little bit more of a natural way instead of it going up like that. Actually, this is even a better example. So when it goes up like this, that means something is happening below, right? So you'll usually see these types of shapes around where a tree is planted in a sidewalk. Whereas in this scenario, I would expect it to go down as the ground below it either relaxes or the amount of weight over time is just pushing it further and further into the ground. So the edges become more and more rounded, and it gets more and more pushed into the ground as time goes on. Damage on the wood is very consistent throughout, so maybe breaking that up so it's a little bit more non-uniform. Like it's very continuous. I like this part, but just having like a few spots where it's occurring could help. Honestly, I ran out of time. I didn't want to put too much time into my first environment. Oh, it's your first environment. This is a very good first environment. Yeah, so any of the feedback I'm talking about, you just apply it to the next scene you're going for. So tips in general. So for this type of detail, you can probably do this with a deferred decal that you place with a mesh. I don't know if that's what you did, but that would help. I really like this breakup. I have no idea if you're using like a mask approach, but you could use a tileable material here and then use a mask to get color variation and roughness variation. All your pieces could share those same masks, and the way that like say this pillar meets this wall piece, there's a line right here, and that's a perfect area for either deferred decal to kind of break up the roughness and show them interacting with each other, or a mask that's just doing the same thing but through like a second UV set, for example. The sign feels a little, it feels weirdly dirty, and the text is aging in a very uniform way. So right now it feels very generated. This feeling up here. Uh, some other things I'm noticing is just making sure that you watch out for these straight lines, breaking those up somehow. You've done a pretty good job of it with these bricks. They feel a little low poly and they're very evenly spaced, but that is helping with breaking up those straight lines. It misses the handmade love. Oh, if you want this to be like handmade or like drawn on, I would actually suggest like actually either painting it and then taking a photo, inverting it in Photoshop and bring it in, or like make it look like a stencil, I guess. I don't know. When it's painted on, it feels it right now it feels typed out, I guess is. Yeah, it just feels like it's worn in a very even way. The other thing I wanted to comment on is this wood beam here. They're very wide. Maybe that's okay for the time, period. But making sure that this all connects to the wall in a way that physically makes sense for support and all that, as well as like getting those decals that help like connect it, like the dripping and the, like a dripping decal that connects the base of that. You would kind of expect to see that everywhere, even if it's just in the roughness or very subtle. Here's another like really sharp line. So watching out for these. Totally okay to bevel everything, as long as it's for a reason, like these edges. I think you have a bevel here, so we're good. You're afraid of overdoing decals. It's better to just make it look awesome and have someone in like a Discord comment on it and say, hey, there's too many decals in here. The thing you should watch out for is making sure that your decals are not overlapping. That's where it gets really expensive. Oh, Cold's like, I know you answered my question on the balcony. I just want to make sure that I understand. I only do one UV map for the whole asset and two 4K resolutions for tileable. No, you don't even need 4K. They can be like 1024 or like a 2K max. For the rope, could be very low res. That could be like a 512. A 512 by 1024 or a 256 by 512. And then the wood material can be like a 2K. But yeah. Yeah. Does that all make sense though, Mirowin? 4K for life or more materials. Do you think it's a good idea? So usually I would suggest that you don't go back to a previous piece and just move forward. Enjoy expanding and learning. Learn from what you built. The next thing will always be better than the next, and the next, and you just keep going. I don't think you need to go back. Okay, last one, and then we are out of here. Look at that pistol. That be a Desert Eagle. Stan, what's up, man? Ooh, ooh. You okay? I gotta click your name and see. Interesting. Stan, you're only in the Empire, but this composition here, this has got like war dogs all over it. Yeah, take what you've learned to the next. Going back is pain. Yeah, don't go back. It's always forward. This looks pretty nice. It's very like brightly exposed. Wow, look at these. 4K will do that to you. So overall, this looks pretty nice. Ooh, there's some scratches in there too from the man. This doesn't feel textured, and this feels extremely low poly. I find it really interesting when we choose to make something quite optimized in geometry, but then we're totally okay to like pump out like a 4 or 8K texture. Still experimenting with renders. Looks pretty interesting. I feel like it's quite stylized, even though it's realistic, like hyper real. It looks like there's no normal bake. Really? Even here? Modeling looks good though. Yeah, yeah. The engravings are baked. Or it's super sharp. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the times the bevels are just not wide enough. So it feels ultra sharp in some areas, like Defcon's saying. Yeah, I just feel a bit sharp. Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those tangent things I was talking about too. Is like you've got a decent amount of space here. Getting that space here would help a lot. So that way you're not having that little tight area here. Looks cool though. It looks like I would see it in like a James Bond intro. You know what I mean? Like it's super sharp, ultra high craziness and like spinning with like tons of them falling like a waterfall of desert eagles. Yeah, I don't know. Curvature weathering. Yeah, I just gotta be careful with like going too far with that. But I mean, I think the gold pieces are a little too worn, but I like the direction that it's going in. Yeah, this does look cool. This banding here. This feels very low poly, just in the shape form. But I mean, that might be how it. I don't know. I need to see a real desert eagle. Why does my 416 is in your this one? Because we were looking at materials. That's why. Anyways, I don't have too much I can say on this. I feel like a really white background can kind of work as long as it's grounded. Man, I love this render. This feels nice. Super cool. Okay, I need to get out of here. Stan, hopefully, I mean, I don't think I gave you too much feedback. Oh, this material feels a little odd. It's got a pattern on it, but at the same time, it's got another pattern on it. Do you know what I mean? I'd look into definitely look at a lot of references. This will help immensely, just especially in the material side of things. But yeah, super cool. Hey, Pontus, you have a good night, man. You have too many overlapping normals. Yeah, I think that's what's going on here. But yeah, cool. Cool. Dude, you guys are on fire tonight. It's really nice to see some new people posting some work. Hopefully, you were able to get some nice feedback. Um, I'm gonna see who else is streaming real quick here, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me get some music going here. It looks like no one is streaming right now, so we're just gonna call it. We're just gonna call it quits. Yeah. Yes, I will see you guys Monday. And on Monday, we're going to be looking at hopefully baking some stuff. And maybe we'll texture a piece. That way we can start to understand the materials that we're going to have and the approach we're going to take. But cool. Okay. You guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. And if I don't see you before, if I see you before, it'll be on the Discord. So I'll just link in chat. GG to you. All right. I'll see you guys later.